Right, continuing on my carbon and dechroming venture, there's a little bit more dechroming to do. Yep, that. So, what I'm going to do is, first of all, say you should clean this off first. I know all my videos say you should do this and do that, and I never do. But anyway, you should do that. It's also better with a, can't even think what I was going to say. Oh yeah, if you've got some sort of solvent, you know, just degreaser or whatever. And also a little bit of heat to warm up the glue that is there. Not the glue, but you know, the double-sided stickiness. But in my case, that's not really a thing. Because this one's nearly coming off anyway. Let me put my glasses on. I'm using this just to measure the height. There's probably some other way of doing it, but this is the way I'm going to do it. And I seem to remember that this ain't that straight anyway. So I'm going to do it visually. Should probably measure in some way. I wonder how I'd measure. I think visually will do. Right, and then there's two little things. Now, the obvious thing as well is from a licensing point of view, the font that of what I'm putting there, which I'll show you in just a second, can't be the same because it's copyrighted probably by BMW, but this is what I'm putting there instead. It would be nice if this had something in the background so you could see it a bit better. But anyway, from SMD, Sam Mubarak at SMD Automotive, I think .co.uk, something like that. That's where I got these from. The font can't be the same because if it is, I was going to say they go to jail, but you know, they don't go to jail. But bearing in mind that this is, yeah, but they might have a legal challenge of some sort to deal with, which is not really something you want to deal with unless you have to. So this is smaller than the other one, so there's be a bit of artistic license in terms of where it goes. Put my little, can't believe I'm actually using this, my little spatula. I've just realised, should have known this, but it's not all one piece. Pretty obvious, but anyway, that's on its own. And so are these. Okay, so they're the bits, oh, and they're very light and they're very plastic, and that's that. Now, I see all of these are separate as well, so it actually makes no difference. Hey, but as you can see, I need to get that off, really. Not even really. I mean, I absolutely need to get that off. You can, if you haven't had any paintwork. It's quite an old car, I think it might well have done. If you haven't, if you know you haven't had, you know, you've only got factory paint on there, you can usually use even thinners, paint thinners for this. I don't have anything that will get this off, nothing at all that I can think of. So what am I going to do? It would be really nasty to put it straight over the top of that. These ain't going to go back now, and they weren't going to anyway. A hairdryer or some sort of hot air gun would help. Slightly warmer day than we've got today would also help. But this takes me back doing this, just sort of rolling it out with my fingers. Even if you have had some paint since factory, quite a number of solvents will probably work on this. It just depends. I mean, these days, other than perhaps with classic car restoration, no one's using cellulose paint. If you think you have got cellulose paint on your car, definitely do not put any solvents to try and get this off. Can't believe that you would have, but anyway, there might be some still around. When I was first painting cars, that's what we were using, cellulose, before we went to twin pack. I remember cellulose, I think you normally used to mix it about 50-50 in terms of paint and thinners. Twin pack, you'd have hardener and thinners, and it was 2 to 1 and 10%. So I think it was 2 lots of paint, 1 lot of thinners, 10% hardener, I think it was. Something like that. Anyway, this is not ideal. The guy who walked up with his dog, thought I was talking to him. I said it don't make any difference because I was talking to you guys, and he said sorry or think that's okay or something along those lines. I'm like, I don't know what he thought I'd said and how he received that, but anyway, it's amazing. I've got a camera on a tripod. You'd think you would put 2 and 2 together, but anyway. So this is sort of working. It's not, what I'm doing is also not ideal doing it this way because it will sort of scratch the paint. I mean, especially with these being the different size, different shape, the thing to do would really, ideally, is probably take them up, take them off, peel them off as best you can. Anything you can't, put some sort of solvent or degreaser or something to get it off. And then with it perfectly gone, maybe with a very mild cutting compound, polish up where it was, and remove all that residue. Use your degreaser again if you have to, and then put the new ones on, because you might have a situation where the quality of paint is slightly different, or it's a bit less faded around where these badges were or something like that, and if the things aren't an identical size, you might sort of notice it, and obviously no one else is really going to notice it. And of course, one thing you'll notice it. One thing I've just realized as well, I don't think that is the case here, but of course sometimes you might have a situation where somebody masked up around the badges. That would have been something we sometimes did back in the day if you couldn't be bothered with the hassle of dealing with the badges. So you might want to be expected to find a bit of that going on. It feels like there's something going on here. So you'd end up with a lip where the paint hasn't got to, or a dry edge if it was blown under or something. But anyway, to be honest with you, it's been so long since I was doing any paintwork, decades and decades. So it's probably changed so much now that I'm completely irrelevant what I'm saying. I don't know. I suppose you might have to check that you haven't got PPE, or it's, you know, if it's a wrap, you might have to handle that in some way. But anyway, here it is, more or less removed, and yeah, I can see it's shinier where these was. I would like to polish this. I don't think I've got any cut-in polish. I might have some. Yeah, I think I've got some sort of wax, and that's not really what you want to put on when you're about to try and stick something. So, top tip, don't be like me. Have some sort of a mild cutting compound at the ready. Maybe even, you know, something like, if you really don't have anything, maybe you've got some T-cuts sitting around. Do people still buy that? I don't know. But that might deal with it. In an ideal world, I probably would have washed at least this area, but really the car beforehand. But anyway, yeah, it's time to see what I've got in the car for cleaning this off a bit more, and I might take a risk with some of the polish that I've got. See how waxy it is. Here goes. I got this. It's like, don't do it, don't do it. But I'm gonna send it, as the saying goes these days. I'm down with the kids. I know all the little words they're using these days on the road, on the street, or whatever it is. I have to find. Oh, you know what I might. What I might use is I don't know, anything like probably washer fluid or antifreeze or something, just something to get off any sort of residue of wax or anything that might trouble this in terms of its preparing it for, you know, its stickiness, if you know what I mean. Because this is mostly a wax, there's not really any cutting in it, so it's not really restoring the paint. It's not bad. Might even, if I put my glasses on, be able to use it as a guide rather than the masking tape that I've now, whatever I've done to it. I think if there is any cutting, if there is anything abrasive at all in this cutting rich wax products, I was going to say, then shaking it, you know, gets the sediment up, so that you can, so that it cuts. Because if it's been sitting for a long time, it kind of won't. I suppose there might be some sort of, what is it they call parabols? You know, some sort of paraffin or something in this, you know, some sort of petroleum substitute that might get some more of this off, but really residue is really just staying there. That's annoying. But anyway, most of you probably have a much quicker way of getting this off than I do. And I might even find that whatever I use in a minute might work better than anything to get these last little bits off. And I could have done that from the beginning. Anyway, however you do it, get the little bits off. Being careful not to scratch the paint, because even if you don't see it, you know, it's going to be annoying and you're going to know you did it. So that's about it. I'm going to go and see what I can use to as like a degreasant. So I've just found some coolant. Actually, I was going to say, I'm looking at it, it looks see-through. I'm like, it's just water, but confusing this bit of bodywork on this car now. Is like, what is he doing? Confusing myself, really. This seems to have done some sort of trick. Doesn't quite feel as glossy as it was a minute ago. Okay. That's alright. That feels like the sort of surface you don't want when you've cleaned your car. It feels very dry and whatever. I'll take this one off. Actually, these have come in quite handy now because I think that might be a little bit high, but it's helping me see where these have got to go. Let's get the camera around. I'm going to do it backwards, or am I? No. You're witness to this. Oh, I see. It really is much smaller. Do you know what? That's really not feeling nice. It's making that paint feel very soft. Hey. At the moment, I want to say don't like it, but let's just give it the benefit of the doubt. Well, there it is. I don't think it's very straight. do. That'll do, me old screw. I wonder if anybody's ever said that before. I don't think I have. Anyway, don't even know what that means. But I mean, I could think of things, but anyway, whatever. So there is a slightly unsatisfying, well, if you like it, you like it. Let me know what you think. I'm kind of like not so keen. I think more because of the state of my fitment. Is it always going to look? I wish it was all one badge, so the spacing was all done. You didn't have to work that out yourself. But anyway. So there you go. It's gloss black. X-Drive 35D badge on my 2009 pre-LCI BMW E70 X5, which is a 35D actually. There it is. Sorry about the camera trying to. Yeah, it's alright, isn't it? It's a bit too subtle for me, and it does look all over the place. But there you go. There's one of them done. So thanks for that. There it is, one more bit of black on my BMW. And we'll see what I think about it. Still got the old ones. I would probably want to do a better job of refitting them. I found something now that I didn't know was there before. What's this? Oh, it looks like somebody's scraped past it. It's gone with wiping, but it was something. Anyway, so there it is. I'm gonna let you go now, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Of course, I've got the others to do at some point. Speaking of the others, do I prefer it? Let's see.